Exercise 14.9. Each of the following quadratics will factorize. Solve each of them by factorization and then use the quadratic formula to show that you get the same answers with both methods. So first of all, I'll be doing it. Let me solve, for example, part E. Part E is x squared plus 6x minus 16 equals to 0. First of all, I'm going to solve it using the factorization method. You need to see that the coefficient of x squared is 1. So I need to multiply 1 by negative 16. That will give us negative 16. I need to have now the factors of negative 16, so that when you multiply them you get negative 16, and when you add them you should be getting the middle term. So the factors of 16 are 2 and 8. Though we have got 1 times 16 which is already there, and 2 times 8, that might be the possibility. I'm not considering the signs at the moment. I'm just concentrating on this magnitude, that is 16. Then we can have 4 times 4. But if you add 4 and 4, you do not get 6. You add 2 and 8, you do not get 6. But when you subtract them, you get 6. So, and when you multiply them, obviously you get 16, since 2 and 8 both were originally the factors of 16. So, that should be our required pair of factors. And what about 1 and 16? You add them, you get 17, you do not get 6. And when you subtract them, you get 15, you do not get 6. So this cannot be the case. So this is the only possible factor pair that should be used. So let's solve it now. X squared plus 2x and then 8x. But we need to consider this thing that whatever is the sign of the middle term, the larger of the two factors has to have that sign. So larger factor should be getting plus sign with it. So the smaller factor, that is 2x, should be subtracted so that we can get positive 6x. And then finally negative 16 equals to 0. Now we need to have the pairings. We need to have this pair, and then we need to have this pair. From the first pair, we need to have something common, that is x. Taking x common, we get x minus 2. And from the second pair, 8 can be taken common. So we can have x minus 2 equals to 0. Now, from these two, we have got the factor x minus 2 as the common factor. And we are left with x from here and then plus 8 from here. Now, the product of two factors is 0. That means either one would be 0 or the other factor would be 0. This will give us x equals to 2 or x is equal to negative 8. So this was the solution of this part using the factorization method. Now let me solve it using the quadratic formula, which is x equals to negative b plus minus b square minus 4ac whole square root whole divided by 2a. Okay. Now, if you compare the given equation, that was x squared plus 6x minus 16 equals to 0, with the general form of a quadratic equation, that is ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So comparing their coefficients, we can observe that A should be 1, B, which is the coefficient of x, here the coefficient of x is 6, so that's why B is 6 and the constant term is negative 16. So when we uh, substitute these values into this formula, we get x equals to negative 6 plus minus 6 squared minus 4 times A, that is 1, times C, that is negative 16, whole divided by 2 times 1. Now we can use the calculator to solve it, or at the moment I can just simplify it a bit. 36, 64, whole divided by 2. This will give me now x equals to negative 6 plus minus 100 whole divided by 2. Further, negative 6 plus minus 10 divided by 2. And now one value of the variable x is going to be negative 6 plus 10 by 2, which will give me 4 by 2, that is 2. And the other value of the variable x is going to be x equals to negative 6 minus 10 by 2, which is negative 16 by 2, which will give me negative 8. So you see, again you have got the same values of the variable x, which are 2 and negative 8, as we had the values in the previous case when we were solving the equation with the factorization method. So we have shown that both methods give the same answers of the variable x. Now we would be solving its part J, for example. Part J. X squared negative 12x plus 32 equals to 0. Again, making the factors of 1 times 32. Factors of 32. I better take LCM. So I need to have 12. 2 times 2, 4. 2 twos are 4. 4 twos are 8. 8 and 4. That will give me 12. So now the factors have been devised. X squared minus 4x minus 8x plus 32 equals to 0. As I told you, the larger of the factors would contain the same sign as the middle term would be having. So to have that negative 8x, obviously we need to have negative sign with 4x so that we can have negative 12x. Now we just need to have the pairings, pair of this and pair of this. This will give us now x common, x minus 4, negative 8, x minus 4 equals to 0. which will give me x minus 4 once again, and then x minus 8 equals to 0. This time x minus 4 equals to 0 will give me x equals to 4, and x minus 8 equals to 0 will yield x equals to 8. So these are the two values of the variable x. Now I solve it using the quadratic formula method. So the equation given is x squared negative 12x plus 32 equals to 0. I need to compare it with the general quadratic equation. I need to see that the values of a, b, and c are 1, negative 12, and 32 respectively. So now we would be using the quadratic formula x equals to negative b plus minus b square minus 4ac whole divided by 2a. This will give me x equals to negative times negative 12 now, because the value of b is itself negative. Then square of negative 12 minus 4, a is 1 and c is 32 whole divided by 2 times 1. So x equals to 12 plus minus 144 minus whole divided by 2. Value of x would be simplified to square root of 16 divided by 2, which obviously would be 12 plus minus 4 divided by 2. Now, one value of x would be x equals to 12 plus 4 divided by 2, which is 16 by 2, 8. And the other value of x is going to be 12 minus 4 divided by 2. That is 8 by 2, which is 4. So you compare these values of x, we observe that both the methods yield the same answers of the variable x. So that's it.